Hey guys, it's Chris here from Chris's Creative Life, and I design workshops that help you create beautiful projects from start to finish with easy to follow guides. Okay, I promised when I created so I'm just going to pull myself up here so that I can see. Sometimes the comments don't always come over here. So when I created the March perpetual calendar, which if you missed it, there is a video. It's here too, but you can also find it over on YouTube. I thought, you know what might be a fun project would be to turn it into, to create a single page with the same concept as the perpetual calendar. So it would be like a place where I could just document a few photos from the month of March. So I think I have everything I need here. So I'm going to shoot you down onto my desk and we'll see what happens here. So I have not got everything planned out, but I do have, I'm going to just turn on another light here because it kind of looks a little dark. Of course, right on time, the dog starts to bark. Okay, so if you haven't seen the perpetual calendar, this is an awesome project. It's such a nice little space that you can like play with techniques and things like that. So I'm going to try and refresh this series over the course of this year, so that we'll do a few of the months. I did like 5 of the months last year, I think, and there is a series on my YouTube channel that's like a playlist if you actually wanted to watch it. But like I said, we are going to create a layout. Okay, so here is what I've grabbed. So I use that same SVG. I've got it here. We'll get to that. But I want to do this part first, right? The Distress Oxide, and then I put stickles in the background. So, but I'm going to show you. Oh, I was looking for this piece before. I recut my rainbow because I couldn't find it. Okay, so I grabbed some of the mix-ins from the March-April idea book. So we're going to use that as our background for the layout. But so it's kind of going to go together like this. I love this mix-ins pack, by the way, so you will probably see it a lot. So I'm going to use the wood grain on the very back, and then I have this lagoon dot, and on the other side is like that XO. And then I grabbed the word piece, and on the other side is like the scripty old-fashioned paper piece. So we're going to do those like this, okay? And I want to create a block like this for the March that's going to go right here. So I think this is my rainbow one for down here. And then, so I have all the same pieces. So I have a piece of the holographic paper. I have a piece of green apple. And then I have the white pearl paper because I wanted my title to be white. But sometimes with Cricut, the white daisy cardstock is not very fun to cut. So I cut it out of that white pearl paper and it's beautiful. So then I have a couple of pieces from that mix-ins piece that are nectarine that we're going to add. And then I have some black mats. I have another piece of the nectarine, but we'll get there. So I have 2 white mats. They're the same size. So one's going to go down here for journaling. And then I'm going to put my March up here. So I want to do the treatment to the white daisy piece right away so it has a chance to dry before we put the layout together. So today I'm going to move my keyboard out of the way so that I don't accidentally mute myself, as I have been doing lately. Okay, so I'm going to just move a few things over to the side. And we're going to do the same treatment that I did behind this March. So I just have my all-purpose mat here. I'm going to put it down. I also did grab the Clover Shimmer Trim, and I think we might add that on here too. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of the mustard seed distress oxide in the back of this piece, on this piece of white daisy. And then I'm going to do the same thing over top with the stickles. So I have the platinum stickles here. So here we go. So I've just got a blending tool. I'm just going to make sure that everything's good to go here. And I don't really need it like super dark. I just wanted it in the background to kind of brighten everything up and bring in that yellow. And it does not a bad job to bring everything together. Okay, so that's going to be enough. So I'm not going to add water to this or anything. I'm just going to now add my stickles on top, and then we'll lay it to the side to dry for a few minutes before I try and assemble everything together. So I think I'm like, this is totally a smart idea for me to move my keyboard right off my desk. So, okay. So I'm just going to take, like I said, the platinum stickles, and I'm just going to pass some over the background just to bring in the gold, because, right, March is like the lucky month with like the rainbow, pot of gold at the bottom of the rainbow, and my little March title, which is the SVG one for March. You can purchase them like individually or as a bundle. So there's one for every month. So I'm just going to use my palette knife and spread the stickles in some spots. So it's different than adding the stickles glitter gel, because this is really super concentrated, so I didn't want to use that because then I would end up with lots of gold, and it has the stars on there too, which is super great, but it just wasn't the look I was going for this. I just kind of wanted a little bit of something subtle in the background. So, like I said, I just wanted to do this first, and then so it'll dry. Now, it did dry when I did the perpetual calendar. It dried really quickly, so I'm not overly worried about it. Okay, that one might be done. But there's lots in this one. There we go. So, but I did get a fun rack for Christmas for all my stickles. My daughter's boyfriend built it for me for Christmas. So they all now sit upside down. So I don't have to sit and try and push all the liquid down to the bottom. Okay, so the fun part is the stickles actually, because there's liquid in there, reacts to that distress oxide also. So you get more than one tone of the yellow. Okay, so we're going to set this aside and we're going to assemble the layout. I'll just grab my Versamat. And somebody should remind me not to sit down on that chair where I just put my all-purpose mat with the stickles all over it, because we all know I would. So my thought process to this would be, I'm just going to do a one-page layout, and it's going to have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 photographs on it to kind of just like a few of the highlights for the month. And then I actually thought I could either just do one page for every month of the year to kind of just document, like in a nutshell, what happened that month. And I don't necessarily need any of them to go together or anything like that. So I could go like a single page all the way through, or on the other side, I could use the calendar pages from Close to My Heart and actually add my calendar beside the highlight page. Was kind of, so there's two different thought processes going through my head. So I think we'll just put this together, see how this goes. And then this is not like an overwhelming number of photographs, right, for the month. So it's just 5 photographs. And if I didn't want to do the 5 photographs, I could swap out the squares and use pattern paper, or I could just add a different journaling spot. But I'm pretty sure I can get 5 photographs for the month. Like even just a picture of a book I'm reading this month, or because it's still cold here, so I'm not venturing outside very often. But so I have 5 3x3 photographs, and then I just have like a very skinny border on all of them. And like I said, I've got the piece of wood grain paper. So we're going to use that as our background. And then I'm going to add this piece. And the words. So I'm going to start at the bottom with the word block. And I think it is 3 1/4 by 10. So I'm going to leave a 1-inch border all the way around. And we'll just see. I'm not sure yet if I'll do all the months the same or do like a combination of different layouts. So and I don't know if we're gonna do mix-ins all the way along, or if we will switch them out and do something different along the way. So then my top piece is 6 3/4 by 10. So I'm just creating like a 10 by 10 block in the background. So I think this is one of my favorite mix-ins of all time. There's another one that I really love, one of the first ones too, but I think this is already my second pack of mix-ins, and we're on like the beginning of the month still. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to add my month here. And my thought is I'm going to add 3 photographs across the top, just like so. I'm going to add 1 right here and 1 right here. And then, so this is going to go here. I'm not going to glue that down yet because it's still wet. And then right here, I want to add a journaling spot. So I can talk about, right, all my photographs that I have. So this is going to go up there, and this one is going to go down here. So I cut out that same rainbow that I have here, right? So I altered it to meet the right size. And so I'm going to glue my 3 things together, or my 4 pieces of my rainbow together, and I'm going to do a little distressing on the clouds. And then this is going to be my journal block. So let's I'm just going to distress my clouds and glue my rainbow together. And then, like I said, we've got the holographic paper for here. So we'll do all the gluing all at the same time, probably. And then I have those. Okay, so let's glue our rainbow together really quickly. And then I'll decide how so I think actually I'm going to do it exactly like this. And I'll do my journaling lines around the rainbow. So I want to get my rainbow stuck together and on here first. So who watched the perpetual calendar from last year? And did you have a favorite month? So I use them to kind of show all sorts of different techniques. I can bring it back out at the end. I forgot to grab it before I came over here. But I thought it might be fun, like I said, to add a page this year. So, and look at this one. This one, I'm like ahead of schedule. Sometimes I was behind the months. Sometimes I did 2 months at a time. So I used candy apple, nectarine. Then I used lemonade and lagoon. I did lots of coloring. One of them was like a shaker. I used texture paste. They were all super fun. Okay, and then a lagoon. Yeah, so I must have been moving stuff around on my desk and my other lagoon got stuck to that. And that's so funny that, of course, I found it right as I was starting after I had cut it all out. So the layers all just line up together and stack. And obviously you could switch out your layers however you would like. Okay, so I'm going to just quickly distress my clouds just to give them a little more texture, make them a little bit stormy. Yeah, so what I thought too, right, is the close to my heart calendar could be opposite, or it could just go month by month. And I do like a perpetual calendar because I'm constantly forgetting. Mostly I use it for birthdays. And so the funny thing, well, it's not funny really, but my son's birthday is the 1st of March. And so quite often people forget that it's his birthday, right? Because you don't flip the calendar until you're in the month. So lots of times sometimes people forget about him. So, and that's why I think, because you don't always flip your full calendar. Even if you wrote it on your big calendar, you don't really flip it typically before the month. So, okay, so that is what I'm thinking. So this is just my big old bucket of sponges, and I have all the cardboard or cardstock on them with their names, so that I just have to dig in there and pull up what I need. Okay, so I'm gonna assemble this kind of how I want it. So I'm gonna pop these up on foam tape. So first I'm gonna add this to the black layer. And then I'm going to do my journaling lines. I might tack my rainbow down just so that I have the placement. Okay, so I'm actually, to do my lines, I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back so that it sticks down to my mat. So when I'm adding my lines, it doesn't move. So there we go. And then I have my rainbow. And same thing, I'm just going to lightly tack it down where I think I want it. And then I'm going to add my journaling lines around it. So I grabbed the jade green, the pen, and I'm going to make my journaling lines green. And that's upside down. Okay. So I'm going to leave a little bit extra at the top, and I'm just following my lines underneath on my Versamat. And I'm going to leave equal space on each end. And I'm just leaving a little bit extra at the top there. So if I want to stamp something or like use the little stickers, the word stickers, if I need something that's just a little bit more space at the top, I have it. Okay. And I know it's not even. I want it kind of to look a little wonky. Okay, so this, now I can just add my lines around it. And if I have to, once I actually put my journaling on there, if I need to connect it more to the rainbow, I can. Maybe I'll just bring it over a little bit so this one connects right up. There we go. I like to send my dad a perpetual calendar. It's good for him. I like to send him a perpetual calendar and some cards. He does like to go and they'll pick his own cards. So, okay, that one I think I'm just going to leave now. And just go on this side. Okay, there we go. I love those lip pens. Okay. So I'm gonna add that, and then I'll make sure my rainbow is adhered down. Oh wait, I have this too. So I just have a little dovetailed piece, and I'm just going to tuck that in behind here. It's too long, but that's okay. So now I can add some more adhesive. And add that in. This would look good too with maybe some clear clear shimmer brush on it. Okay, so I'm going to add this photo mat. Okay, and then now I'm going to add the ones at the top and then do the middle. So this is dry now. So I'm just going to there we go. Okay. So Now I'll add these 3 in. And it's crazy how quickly that the stickles actually dries. So I'm going to do my 2 outside ones, and then I'll add my one in the middle. There we go. Now I can just plop this in here and then get my mat down for my month and then build my little cluster for March here. It is so funny, even black and white cardstock, I'm so used to flipping it over for the two-toned cardstock. I always still flip over the black and the white. Okay, so now I'm going to add my dried background. Okay, so then I'm going to add this piece, the nectarine. And then the holographic paper. And this one I'm going to pop up. So I'm going to add my layers onto it first and then add my foam tape behind it. So this is the green apple. And I did do the true side of green apple. I did the true side of all of the cardstocks. So, okay, so then I have my white pearl paper. There we go. I love the feeling of the pearl paper. This would be a perfect project to use the UV cardstocks from the Cardstock Carnival too. Gotta love a good rainbow, and March, I always love that. Okay. So there we go. Okay, so then I have my little shamrocks here. So let's just check this out and make sure I've got them all in the right spots. So I made it will be super hard for you guys to see, but I cut the green apple so that the back, so the March is the true side of green apple, and then I did the shamrocks. I flipped them over so that they're the light side. And I know it doesn't show up on the camera because some of them, there's more difference, I feel, in the two tones than other ones. And green apple is not one that has a huge difference between the two of them. Okay, and then these are going down here with some foam tape too. And I'm going to add this in here. So like I said, I originally grabbed the gold shimmer trim, and then I thought, I think I'm going to add another green in there. So I did grab the clover. So I'm just going to add it right here. Okay, and I kept my tail on here. So now oh no, my cloud got stuck to my shimmer trim. I think I'm actually going to run it just underneath my rainbow too. So you're not going to see a ton of it because the clouds are down there too, but there we go. Okay. So now before I put this away, this got this long strip on it. I'll just trim it back so there's just a little bit left. So it's easy to pull off after for the next time. There we go. Okay, so now let's pull out some foam tape. So I'll add my clouds here at the bottom, and I'll finish everything off the same way as this one with the gold sequins. There we go. I love the little storm clouds. So I think this is going to be a fun new series. There we go. Okay, so this I'm going to adhere down just with thin or with foam tape, and then I'm going to add the clovers on there with thin 3D foam tape, just the same way I did this one. So the holographic paper on this one is flat on the background, and then I popped up the little clovers. I'm going to pop up the background on this one and then use just thin foam tape to pop up the clovers. So I'll have to look at, I don't even know what the SVG for April looks like. I have it in there, but I haven't actually looked at it. So I'll have to think of something fun to do with the April one. So, yeah. Like I said too, the perpetual calendars make a great gift. You could even do this like this same concept of the months for like a baby's first year or something. That would be fun. Okay, so now I'm gonna see if I have thin dots. That might be fastest for the clovers. So I'm just gonna use my piercing tool and I'll just throw some of these dots onto the back of the clovers. It makes it so fast. And then you guys don't have to watch me cut my foam tape. You could do it like the first year of your pet's life too, right? Or like I said, you could do even just things all about the month, right? Like what you're reading, something you ate this month. I'm not taking a picture of what it looks like outside this month, but because we still have snow. Like I just can't even believe it. We still have snow that for sure is up to my knee, if not higher. So I don't think I've lived here a year where it's been this bad. So I'm just gonna try and put my lid on my liquid glass so it doesn't dry up. Okay. Yes, it is very doable. I don't want to make something that's so fancy or so complicated that nobody creates them, right? Like that's not the point. Like sure, it's great to have some layouts that are over the top, but then you also have to spend the time to create them versus, okay, so we are at just under 40 minutes right now and we're almost finished. And really, other than like it took me how long to cut out my Cricut pieces, right? And cut out my Cricut pieces and my paper, right? Like I made them simple cuts, right? So that it's not overly complicated. Judy says corned beef and cabbage, snow on the mountains, Pi Day and birthdays. There you go, Judy. You've got all your photographs already. Sometimes I think too when people scrapbook, they get overwhelmed by like old photographs or I have buckets of photographs or all of those things. And sometimes a nice, quick, simple project gets you going again, right? So, and like I said, I'm not saying it's not about the fancy pages, but sometimes it's also about just documenting what's going on. Okay, last one, and then I'll just add some sequins because we've got to have a little bit of sparkle on there. Okay. It's so funny. In front of me, I pulled this up so I could see the comments, but they're coming in fine today. But at the bottom is like a frozen frame from right when I started, which I'm not really sure why that's there. We'll try and get rid of that. There we go. Okay. So there we go. How fun is that? Okay, so let's get some gold sequins right here. I also did think about adding some pieces from this stamp set, but I think I'm just going to leave it for right now until I add some photographs on here. At that point, I might add a few little extras on there. But so now I'm just going to dig around in here for some gold sequins. And I'm just going to add them onto my glue dots. And I'm just going to pick some different sizes. Oops. And I'm picking out all the super shiny ones. So I love that there's all different sizes. I'm going to get a little tiny micro dot for that one, because it's just itty bitty. And another one. Okay, so let's add these and then I'll decide if I need more, but I think that might be enough. You can also do your sequins with glue if you're more patient than me. Don't forget. So I'm just not that patient, especially when I'm trying to demo, right? Okay, I need one more for up here. There we go. And I love this little pickup tool, you guys. But I'll just tell you, don't sharpen it in your electric pencil sharpener. I find that if you do that, my electric pencil sharpener got all the wax, because it's like a sticky wax, right? Got stuck inside my electric pencil sharpener. So, not recommended. I mean, I cleaned it out, but I don't know if I've ever showed you guys my electric pencil sharpener, but my son loves it. But it stays in my office for my watercolor pencils. But he comes in here he said he used to use a totally dull pencil all the time. Until he discovered that I had an electric pencil sharpener in here, and now he might be slightly addicted. It's just a fun one. Okay, guys, I think that's it. So that is what we've got. So there is the layout for March based off of the perpetual calendar for this year. I was going to quickly show you the one from last year. So if you want to watch any of these, all of these ones are still on my YouTube channel on a playlist. So you can go back and watch them. That was the March one from last year, which is super pretty. This one I used texture paste for. So, and it's funny, right? Because these are all much more subtle colors than playing with the fun rainbow ones. So that was last year's March versus this year's March. So lots of fun. Okay, that's what I got for you guys today. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.